Welcome back to Must Play Reviews. Team Ninja has released their very first open world title, Rise of the Ronin, which takes place in Japan during the 1800s, offering a historical journey that's a departure from their previous games. The gameplay and world design in this title are great, but the performance is an absolute mess. So let's get into the details. Visually, the game is impressive for the most part. It does take a lot of inspiration from games like Ghost of Tsushima, recreating that beautiful grass detail that just blows in the wind and moves with the environment, which enhances the entire world. Whether it's the best looking game or not, these types of things have more of a visual impact than, say, a more static grass type texture in some games. Now, some of the textures in this game are stunning, but not everything holds up as well. Certain rock textures look like they are made from real photographs. They are crystal clear, even though the models that they are placed on aren't. Some of the old rundown rustic buildings look amazing, while some of the newer, more modern Americanized stuff doesn't look as good. But those Japanese temples with the red painted wood is just incredible to see. And with the game's lighting and color tone and use of film grain, it gives that feeling of an old Western or Japanese film. It's gritty with high contrast and more of a neutral approach to colors. Weather can be a highlight at times. There's a snow section and it deforms as you move through it. When it's raining, there are some interesting things going on with the lighting. The rain effect will catch the light, and when lightning strikes, it does the same thing. And when it starts to rain, the NPCs will cover their heads and run to try and get under cover. It's just a small little detail that's pretty nice to see in games. Thankfully, Team Ninja did add some options in there. If you don't like film grain, you don't like the vignettes or motion blur, and especially the terrible chromatic aberration, you can turn all of that off. The sad thing is, it doesn't help performance at all. The resolution and ray tracing mode do not run well, and the performance mode is the only way to play this game at a mostly steady frame rate, and it still drops at times. I would say that the performance is comparable to Elden Ring. Its frames drop more in the city districts than in the countryside. One thing to note is that I have not experienced a drop that has affected me in combat. It's mostly traversal based. When you're moving across the cities, you get these stutters. Now, on to gameplay. If you have played any of the Team Ninja games of late, you know that their combat is deep and complex at times, and Rise of the Ronin is no different. There is a lot to this combat system. It is highly customizable. Each weapon type, which there are a lot of, all have multiple stances and skill sets. Some styles are more effective against certain types of enemies than others, and of course, you even have those added elements to your weapons like electricity and fire. But my favorite new part of it is the stealth mechanics. The stealth in this game is great. It's so much fun because it's not a slow-paced stealth system. It's swift and can be used with the hang glider. Flying over the top of an enemy and jumping off and hitting them with a stealth attack is just satisfying. Along with the hang glider, you have the grappling hook, which also adds more dynamic combat and exploration to the game. You can pick up barrels and throw them at enemies along with weapons that get stuck in the ground. It allows you to climb to the top of the building, launch off your hang glider for stealth drops, or just fly around to explore the world because it is full of stuff to do, which is where I get distracted when playing this game. I get lost in the open world exploration far more than the story. I have ran around for hours just hunting for cats, treasure, and landmarks to photograph. It is very easy to lose track of time when playing it. The main story of the game is a fight to preserve the Japanese and samurai way and not introduce foreign ideals into their country, along with the story of your character and twin blade. They take a little bit of a nod from some classic Assassin's Creed games and use real characters from that time period. So, one thing I will recommend is to use the Japanese voice acting. The English voice acting isn't necessarily bad, but when you're playing a period piece like this, there's just something about having that accurate voice acting and tone that just makes it so much more impactful. So at the end of the day, Rise of the Ronin is a very fun open world RPG that lets you play as stealthy as you want to be, or you can be a beast in combat. If you're looking for something similar to Ghost of Tsushima, but uses that hardcore gameplay like Elden Ring or the Souls games, this one will probably be right up your alley. If you're already interested in this game, or you already bought it, let me know down in the comments below on what you think of it. And leave a like and subscribe, and I will talk to y'all later.